Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, thank you for joining me on the UK Crafter. Today I'm going to show you some more sewing machine basics, and we're going to start with changing the needle in our machine. Welcome back to my sewing room. I've got my machine ready to have the needle changed. The obvious part of the machine that we're concentrating on is this section here where the needle resides. And you can see that I've already got a needle in my machine here. I've been using this machine. So that's the needle that I've been using on my machine. There's a foot in there, there's the foot plate. And you may recall when we looked through the sewing machine on my walking through video, which is part 2 of this series, that down in here, this screw here is the screw that actually holds the needle in place. So in order to change the needle, what we're going to need to do is to actually move the needle up away from the foot, unscrew this screw, take the existing needle out, and then pop a new needle in. Now, the machine that I bought came with a packet with 3 additional needles in. Here's one here. I'll just try and zoom in that a bit better for you. Now, when you're putting these needles into the machine, you'll see on this that they're one side, hopefully you can see, one side of the needle is flattened off. So the rest of it's rounded, but there's a side on that needle at the top that's flattened off. And on this machine and machines, typically machines that have needles where they've got a flat side, you'd put the flat side in at the rear. So just a handy guide. If your machine has already got a needle in, you can of course check the position of the needle when you take the existing one out. If you buy a machine and there's not one in there, and it's one of these with a flat side, you would typically put the needle in with the flat side at the back. Always check the documentation that comes with the machine just in case, and there should be something to tell you how to put the needle in, some marking on it to tell you which side it goes in where. At the other end of the needle, of course, the sharp point, and then there is a hole in there, then that's where the thread goes through. I'm going to cover threading the needle in another video, but this one's just a quick one to show you how to change the needle. So what we need to do is get a little screwdriver. Now this came with my machine, yours probably will have one with it too. We're going to just raise the needle up away from the foot. We want the needle at its, kind of at its highest point if we can get it, which is about there. So we're turning the needle wheel on the side of the machine just to raise the needle up. I'm going to pop my screwdriver in there because that will be very tight, that screw. Hold on to the needle with my other hand. Give it a little turn. Once that's moving enough for me to turn it with my hand, I can just unscrew it by hand, and the needle just comes out. And if we have a look, we can see the flat side was at the rear. So I know that's where I want my side on my new needle to go. Now this needle that I've got in here still looks like it's fairly sharp. I could probably could carry on sewing with this needle without too much trouble. Sorry, it's having a bit of trouble focusing there. But I generally change my needle every 3 or 4 projects that I do. So I don't worry about counting sewing hours unless I'm doing a ridiculously massive project and I'm doing a lot of sewing. I might shorten it to 2 or 3 projects. But generally speaking, if I'm making bags or dresses or skirts or anything like that, I'm looking to change my needle every 3 or 4 projects. I could probably still carry on using this needle, it still looks pretty sharp to me, but I don't want to risk it breaking or snagging my material. When you're sewing with a needle that gets blunt, or if it gets little nicks in it, that's typically what will cause any kind of snags in your materials when you're sewing. Just trying to focus in a bit there, you can't really see. Okay, so to get rid of my old needle, and I'm obviously going to dispose of that carefully so it doesn't go in the rubbish and pierce a poor rubbish collector's fingers. Get my new needle, and it really is just a case of making sure my flat bits at the back, sliding it up inside where the needle lives as far as it will go, and then just tightening that screw back up by hand as far as I can, to as tight as I can, and then just get my screwdriver and give it another little turn just to make sure that that is as tight as it can be. There we go, that's the needle change. It really is as simple as that. If you do get stuck doing this, just have a look in the manual that comes with your machine. If you've got a machine that hasn't got a manual, have a look online, Google it. There's bound to be something online that will help you. But hopefully this video has been a big help. Nice and simple and straightforward, nothing to worry about. Same with everything with a machine. Once you know how to do it, it's really, really easy. Join me in my next short video where we're just going to have a quick look at changing feet, and then the one after that we're actually going to do threading the needle, threading the bobbin and putting the bobbin in, and then actually threading the needle up itself. So you'll see how easy that is. Again, nothing to worry about, really simple. Once you've done it once or twice, you'll be able to do it with your eyes closed. Till then, take care.